running start. Shielded Minibot on 2 into Rallying Blade on 3. Buffs that Minibot into a 3-3 more Divine Shield minions along with a Knife Juggler. RenoJackson gets down the Jade Behemoth in response, but tempo is in Capilano's favor. He can start manipulating this board to his...
Missing, the swipes. He's missing the ability to compound this Jade pressure. That's something for me that looks really scary and puts RenoJackson at a disadvantage.
Capilano just got one of the nut draws in this format.
It's coming down right as after Capilano is able to buff his entire board, which means he's probably going to get 2 opportunities. And RenoJackson says, I'm so far behind that I need to just use these naturalizes and try to take advantage of it. And this is quite brilliant because, A, it shuts off Capilano's ability to use
Gold's Jailer and a Noyotron, just getting cards out of your hand, maybe a Light Fuse Stegodon if you really wanted to. Yeah, so we're going to do Hero Power, Light Fuse Stegodon. Gets +3 attack and is going for the throat.
+3 attack's big, and it's a lot of damage coming in, so RenoJackson has spreading play.
Nourish into swipes this turn, 1 mana short of that, so instead we're just going to see the Spreading Plague game plan and maybe a Hero Power to take out that 1-1, but unfortunately, you're right, those 4-1s buffed by Quartermaster are enough to trade with Spiders 1-to-1, and that's normally not what you want with Spreading Plague. You want them to have to run 2 minions into each Spider to get rid of it.
Yeah, and not only that, but just Poison Seeds.
They're running 0 or 2. Looks like he's splitting the difference here and just playing the 1s in case it comes up. But other than that, everything looks pretty standard. 1 Crystal Lion, 1 Tarim, 1 Lotheb in order to secure your board state. Anything stand out about that? No, I don't think so.
I like the fact that his cards that are not necessarily super strong in every matchup, but they're important, he's got 1 copy of. So he's kind of hedging his bets across the board rather than just moving all in on 1 or 2 different types of tech cards and hoping that he finds that matchup. And here, not even going with the Quartermaster, just more board development and then the Call to Arms. And RenoJackson said he's had enough. There's nothing he can do to get out of it. For Capilano as well. I mean, Potion of Polymorph's not the greatest secret to draw, but it enables the Medivh's Valet. It buffs up the Mana Worm to be able to deliver some punch here. And so now Capilano, does he want to trade on board, or does he just want to start, racing RenoJackson right back down? And I like the decision to go face.
Capilano was able to use the coin, turn the board state around, and now it is him who is in the driver's seat. Potion of Polymorph hits one of the biggest threats in that deck. Frothing Berserker goes from a 2-4 that gets real big to a mere sheep.
Right. I mean, the 2-4 would have been, the Frothing Berserker just would have been insane on this turn. And Potion of Polymorph ends up being a pretty big payoff here. What does the board state look like if I play both of these minions and RenoJackson maybe has to trade? And honestly, the more I think about the deviation, the more sense it makes. Because think back to the early Mana Worm and how he had counter-pressured with that and forced the hand from RenoJackson. That's exactly what Capilano's trying to do right here. And honestly, when you look at it in hindsight, this is quite a brilliant maneuver.
To attack. Oh, he's actually going to go for the Valet? Really? I would think you'd go face and just take out the Kirin Tor Mage.
Well, all his tools left to fight with are minion pressure. He's got to find that repetitive value from somewhere. And so he can fight off the race potential with armor up and then just get minions on the board and hope that Kor'kron Elite is the one that will take over at the end. More leverage on board than RenoJackson's Hero Power gives him leverage in this game.
Wow,
nice.
The perfect roll. And now that's going to put RenoJackson down to 10. He's shaking his head.
Counter spells total in the deck, 2 Explosive Runes, 2 Potion of Polymorph. So it was a 3-to-1 on the ratio of good to what I would consider bad. And the Deathbite drawn as well. I mean, this is threatening lethal versus Capilano.
He has lethal next turn. He just... Oh, wow! RenoJackson is going to do it because Lotheb, while good, not good enough.
RenoJackson has to number one, though, believe that this is not an Explosive Runes or a Potion of Polymorph. He's not checked for either of those yet.
Or an Ice Block.
Well, it can't be Ice Block.
Oh, it's not Ice Block in the deck. Okay, so it's fine. It's not Ice Block.
So he drew a minion, and then gets the word that it's not, in fact, Potion of Polymorph Explosive Runes, and the Kor'kron Elite would have checked for it anyway.
Wow!
Unreal comeback.
What a turnaround! Pirate Warrior takes the game. Burn Mage in control the entire matchup. Seemed like and if you could bait out that Poison Seeds, I don't think RenoJackson will fall for that bait, right? But theoretically, if you could get that Giant out there and force a Poison Seeds out early, well, then you're clear to do your Naga Sea Witch.
It looks like in this hand, kill everything that Capilano plays. I think it's a big problem for Capilano.
And Capilano takes the bait, decides to drop some Giants out now, but not the whole... I agree. He's looking for anything but Poison Seeds, but he's got to go.
No, he's going to deviate. And so this is another plan for this too. Is you double swipe, maybe you get the Poison Seeds like a second Naga Sea Witch here, or you can handle just the single 8/6 Giant, take some damage and try to leverage the tempo of the game rather. instead of just using your poison seeds right away. It's another smart play we're seeing from RenoJackson here. And for Capilano, once you've tested the waters and seen that poison seeds, you are likely to unleash the second one going. It is super unlikely that there's one there at this point.
I think I mean, that's why RenoJackson is so well regarded amongst the
and look how fast he's
community.
playing this. He's like, I got him!
Got him! He fell for it! Guys, he fell for it! And now we've got a whole board of 2/2s, and Ironwood Golem comes
to draw cards and find the minion pressure necessary. You know, Capilano's dwindling on life total fairly quickly at this stage, so these last 10 points of life are pretty paramount for him.
Opts to hold on to the Shadow Flame. He's got 2 of them, but he's even despite having 2, wanted to hold on to.
You know, you don't always get the ideal hand.
RenoJackson is antsy in his seat. You can see him bouncing back and forth left and right. He's excited. He knows that winning is just within his reach.
Gives a little shrug.
Capilano.
He's like, okay, that's fine.
Summons and then Malfurion the Pestilent, knowing that he suddenly has tools to survive a little longer and maybe
it's just a conservative play.
Yeah.
Like conservative play's good.
Yeah, with Pestilence, because especially with that's already played both of its Naga Sea Witches, you know that any big minions are going to be coming down one at a time. It's going to be naturalized instead, it looks like.
Yeah, easy naturalize. I mean, this is what that card's in the deck for, is to do this exact circumstance. And this will cause an overdraw for Capilano as well. But
wow.
Mal'Ganis gets found. But there's a lot of armor generation for RenoJackson still to be able to find. But again, I'm just having trouble finding what that looks like. Loatheb, Shadow Flame it, go ahead is Capilano's play.
Wow.
And this is not how his deck wants to operate, but he's just been shredded on the minion front. Board pressure, poison seeds to remove taunt from the Void Callers, and then uses hero power to attack through it. And so Capilano, he's going to move up to 6 here with the Sacrificial Pact, create the 3 Void Lords, and now this stops RenoJackson from actually delivering that lethal blow, I believe, unless he's got enough with this with Spellstone to push through, but he doesn't. I mean,
I don't think you even poison seeds at this point. I think you just trade with everything.
Kill a Void Lord, use Branching Paths to get armor, and then one attack. The Spellstone already kills something, so that's he's got lethal through here because of the Branching Paths draw. That one extra attack onto the Eye of Blackpaw.
Boom! Poor man Savage Roar takes it home. RenoJackson goes up 2-1 in the set after dropping the first game to Capilano, wins 2 in a row. Jade Druid getting there against Giant Warlock.
Wow, tight game at the end. You know, I was trying to think about that. For Capilano, that's not really that huge of an issue because his minions are just so big in general. When he's able to stick them down, it can become a big problem. But RenoJackson says, you know what? I'm not going to give you back tempo. I'm just going to make my own giant and start smashing through your stuff. So, not really the intended use of. It was like it faced down like 21 power.
Whoa!
On like 1 turn. And it was just tough to do. And so Reno's going to keep cutting into that. He says, no, I don't want you to be able to land a Clockwork Giant super easy. I want you to have to use extra resources to do that.
Nefarian might be. Oh, he goes with Bookworm. I was saying Bookworm's like usually the good choice, but what are you actually going to. Right, Void Lord. 3/9. Perfect thing to eat up with a Bookworm.
Yeah, maybe a second Doomsayer down the road as well. But for Capilano, I mean, his turn is about as straightforward as you can get here. It's the coin. It's the Giants. And when I say Giants, it is all of them. RenoJackson just shakes his head. What on earth just happened? Look at this board.
5 Giants, 37 power on turn 5. That's a pretty good strat.
This is how this Giants deck works, is that if you can't check it according to what its game plan is trying to do, you can be killed rather quickly. I don't believe there's any out in terms of damage at this stage. Divine Spirit. Oh, the Divine Spirit. Can he cut in anything and live? 24. He could live at 1.
I think that's the game plan here, is you try to live at 29 and just cross your fingers.
That's feeling bad.
Now, that's a 10-14, though. That's not going to be easily removed from the board. I sort of feel like you know that he doesn't have Divine Spirit, Inner Fire. He would have played it last turn if he had it and tried to kill you with it. So instead, you just play it safe and just rush. But I think you're right. He's going to trade 2 of them. 2 Giants for 1 10-14. It's a high cost to pay.
Yeah, you still got the board, though.
Very true. And you're still only about 2 turns away from lethal.
He's just going to cut into all the resource generation from RenoJackson. I think
Naga Sea Witch sitting on the table for just turn after turn is brutal, because now Mal'Ganis is coming down, making that into a cool 5-11.
Oh, boy.
Yep. We're going to start trading Giants into Draconid Operatives. probably going to take out, yeah, just take out the Doomsayer
I
afterwards.
was like, man, I really didn't want him to kill that thing. And I don't,
ouch.
just not seeing it.
And there's Divine Spirit Inner Fire, about 8 turns too late. Unfortunately, I mean, I guess you could do Death Lord, double it to a 16-16. But
It's just, it still dies.
who cares?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jackson
right?
he's had enough. We're going to game 5.
a lot of cards. Ended up with a slow hand. No secrets, no 1-drops, no 2-drops.
This is the early problem, too, is, again, the super health-efficient minions that RenoJackson gets to play. And he draws Inner Fire as well.
Is this a turn 3 8-8?
I mean, he can pocket that Inner Fire and use it to either pocket Counterspell later on. He's got coin to do that, though. You know, does he want the damage right now? Because the thing about it is if he goes for it right away and Capilano's got burn spells, he could just lose his Radiant Elemental and his Inner Fire. He's going to load it up and says, let's go. You don't have a secret. Do you have the burn for my Radiant?
Needed something, anything to keep me in this matchup, and I'm not sure it's going to be good enough. He's going to go ahead and start to weaken it to at least try to stop more of that doubling and health gain effect, but this is going to have to be a 2-turn problem.
I mean, he's got to just chip it away and hope that that's enough. There's a second Cabal Talon Priest in RenoJackson's hand. This is not good news for Capilano. This is about the worst news imaginable.
And I guess you could, if you really wanted to, if you're RenoJackson, you could even Cabal Talon Priest then like coin heal if you really wanted to, just to continue to push that threat. You know your opponent doesn't have the burn to kill it. He would have done it last turn if he could. No, 3-7 there, instead trading on board.
Looking at Capilano and going, what, does he stop this? He's getting beat up.
This is like, it's almost like RenoJackson got to sequence Capilano's deck himself, because it's very hard for Alanith Burn Mage to draw such an ineffective sequence of cards given how much of it is based around this aggro burn secret game plan.
Well, that's the benefit, again, just like the Cabal Talon Priest, the Radiant Elementals, the Power Word Shields. They really mess with the way that Mage typically answers threats. And because of that, it's been just a snowball issue here. So RenoJackson does.
Now he can go Explosive Runes and then Medivh's Valet, but then what? Like, what are you even valeting, you know? Is it going to be enough? I guess you get the Radiant Elemental off the board, but that 8-6 is just floating around. No tools available to kill it. RenoJackson has to be so happy with this, with his decision. He was thinking about taking the 2-8, just passes on. Dustbreaker comes down, clears most of the board. Explosive Runes comes out, is absorbed there, leaving Lyra the Sun Shard available. So that is an 8-5 for next turn. Lethal is on board. Capilano needs a draw. Fireball comes so late, just in time to stabilize. Lyra is going to come out next and start drawing cards, and RenoJackson's going to have to close it out with something else. Some other win condition.
I don't know if it's celebratory or nerves or like, wow, he was dead and I had it. But, I mean, his hand is still very strong for the circumstance. Not only...
Shadow Form! Shadow Form gives you the direct damage you need.
Mind Blast, too!
Wow! Reno needed direct damage to close this one out, to put the boot on Capilano's throat and finish it out.
Done.
Capilano scoops. RenoJackson is moving on to the next round with a 3